I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. There's Krista Melinda, Jason Ledford, Jane. Hello, Cohen family, Sandy, Wandy, Murph. It's good to see you all. All right, so do me a favor, please, before we get started. This is how much it costs. Hit that like button. You know what happens on this platform, YouTube? They don't like happy. They don't like positive, and they suppress it. It's just the truth. We can only do what we can do. If I was on here swearing and being a jackwagon, I'd get a lot more views, but I'm not that guy. So please help me out and hit the like button. Hi, Dizzy Dragon, Cindy G. And I got a 5x5 by Jane Aldrich. That is a terrific woman right there. David Booley, good to see you. Look at that. There's David Booley. Look at this. There's Lilac Lime. And there's Toby Reveille. If I didn't show Cindy already, there's Cindy. And there's the one and only Krista Melinda. Thank you for hitting the like button. I assume you have. I use a streaming software, so I can't even see how many likes we've got. But what happens, and you know how this works, in theory, there's a lot of comments and everybody likes the stream, the algorithm thinks something special is happening, and they push it out and more people see it. All right, so before I get into the topic of tonight, I want to tell everybody about today. We went out to the recovery center. I'm feeling better. Thank you for asking, David Bull. Yesterday, you know, we drank some bad water. We really did. Hi, Robert. Good to see you, dude. Look at that. There's Robert. There's Barbara Aldrich. We drank some bad water, and it's horrible. It's terrible. Look at that. Something special is happening. Tell the algorithm, fam. The water was terrible. It affected me. I've had a headache for weeks, and it's absolutely linked to fatigue. Yesterday, not last night, but the night before last, I didn't sleep at all. And I woke up and had a headache for most of the day, and as the day progressed and I got more tired, the headache got worse. And it comes, I have good days and bad days. It's weird. Thank God, we didn't. I don't know even how much we consume, but I'm feeling better. So thank you for asking. Jane says, lurking. Too much screen time today. Boy, you know what? I respect that. We all have too much screen time. You guys ever hear a YouTuber tell you that you have too much screen time? Stop watching so much. True story, though. Back to today. We went to the recovery center, and the third dorm. We feel really good looking at that thing. Tommy and I. It's a beautiful thing. It's done. Guys are living in it. Some great people out there. There are more guys now than there were last time. Each time we pick up a man or so. Today was a Bible study, and it was just spectacular. It was an amazing experience. So today, I've been in communication with David, the person who runs the shelter. He's a spectacular human. Man, I want to be more like him. He's terrific. And we are, here's the thing. We have an account that everything that comes in goes through. His wife runs all the finances, but the account is in his wife's name. And I explained it to David. People in America, if we say, yeah, this is a recovery center, send it to, and it's a woman's name. There's going to be people, and it's not going to be you. You guys are terrific, but it's going to be somebody who's going to say, yeah, whatever. So I explained to him, we need, a name of the center. So he says, clear, I'm clear. I got you. I'm working on it. So we're going to have it done. Now that I'm in, nobody uses a phone here, you guys. Well, they use phones, but they don't use a normal phone service like AT&T or anything silly like that. They use WhatsApp. Everybody, stores, everybody uses WhatsApp. It's free. It's encrypted. That's all I use. The people, I don't talk to a whole lot of people. I really don't. But the people I talk to, and there's some people in the chat that talk to me, it's on WhatsApp. So we are going to get, I have a feeling it's not going to take long. I have lit a candle, a fire under his fanny. So I have a funny feeling that we're going to get an account very quickly. And that's exciting. because things are happening. When you make a donation and you help them out, boom, the next day it's done. It's absolutely spectacular. Robert says, tomorrow night I'll be doing a dinner for a nonprofit cafe, all local farmers and their produce. How cool is that? That's pretty awesome, Robert. And don't forget, tomorrow, just in case any of you forgot, I assume Gauthi may be here later. It's Gauthi's birthday tomorrow. It's also that furry drunken freshman. That is Katy Perry. She turns 1 year old tomorrow. So that's kind of exciting. But anyway, there was great strides. It was a great day at the center. Pray for those guys. For those of you who pray for them. They need it big time. All right. So did anybody get the thumbnail? Anybody know anything about the thumbnail? Anybody? I'm really curious. Did anybody pick it up at all? Ace of Spud, good to see you. Look at this. Johnny, loving the positivity from you after your move south. Happiness and positivity is infectious. You know what? Ace of Spud, thank you for being here. I mean it. It is. Negativity is as well, though, and we got to fight that. Man, we got to fight that. And that's what this whole show is about. Does anybody recognize? Anybody? Please post pictures, Robert. Ripple in still water. Those are lyrics from, it is a song. There's Kristen. That's a song by the Grateful Dead called Rip. Put a one in it. No, ones are two. Ones are for prayer and support. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever been to a Dead show or if you've ever heard the song Ripple. I'm just curious if I'm talking to nobody. It's significant to me, and when I explain what I'm talking about, you might get it. But it's Gauthi. Just talked about your birthday, dude. Jane Aldrich knows. Hi, Barbara Waite. Good to see you. Dale Cox knows. If you've ever been to a Dead show and they play the song Ripple, there's a beautiful line. The line that gets everybody going and everybody there goes berserk over is the last line of the song. Jeremy Fowler, good to see you. Look at this, people. There's Jeremy Fowler. And hello, look at this. Hey, Bus. Johnny, hope you're having a great night. I am. Thank you, Jeremy. Here's Spirit Prof. Greetings, Johnny and fellow bus riders. We all remember make someone's great day. He says that all the time. I love that. If you've ever been at a Dead show and they sing that song, the line of that song that makes everybody goes berserk is the last line of the song where Jerry sings. It's a beautiful song. He says, if I knew the way, I would take you home. It's about the path of life. It's a spectacular song. The reason that's the thumbnail, and I don't know if there's anybody, I don't know how long some of you people have been watching me, but a really long time ago, it was right after probably the first chili festival I ever went to. I came back and I did a stream. Hi, Blitz. Good to see you. You're in my prayers, girl. Pray for you all the time. I mean it. I really do. But after the very first chili festival, I mentioned something about the vibe at a chili festival, and I compared it to a Grateful Dead show. Now, let me explain to you what I mean by that. I've been at a lot of Grateful Dead shows. I quit counting how many I went to. It was a good time. At a Grateful Dead show, what was spectacular about it is at the show, there would be guys that just followed the band, men and women. There would be school teachers. There'd be doctors. There'd be lawyers. There'd be stay-at-home moms. Every walk of life, there'd be homeless people. Every walk of life you can imagine. There'd be Republicans, Democrats. It didn't matter who you voted for. And at a Dead show, none of that crap mattered. Have you guys ever been at a Dead show? There is just a vibe. Everybody just drops all that crap at the door, at the gate. And when you come in, you're just there to listen to some good music. And the vibe is so peaceful and wonderful. I was at a Dead show with Tommy once. And I can't remember if we were at a station where they were selling peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or if they were selling nitrous balloons. I can't remember. But one dude, this is the only violence I ever saw at a Dead show. Tommy was there. Somebody shoved somebody. Just shoved it. It wasn't a punch. They shoved him. The guy fell back. Hi, Katie. Katie's getting in the basket. She knows the routine. The guy fell back and landed on his butt, and you heard everybody shaming. They went, man, you got to go. Gotta get out of here. And the guy who shoved him left the concert. There's no violence. No one cared about what side you fell on, who you voted for, who you prayed to, who you were married to, who you had sex with. None of that mattered. Look at that. You got to be kidding me. There's the one and only Tom Broom. I thought I'd say hi to everyone. I'm getting ready to go inside for a hot pepper night, bringing fresh ghost pepper pod, 49-month Reaper tincture, holy mackerel, and omega powder. Lee, good night. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Tom. I love you, dude. I don't know if you have WhatsApp, but I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you either way. I'll call you tomorrow. So there's that vibe at a Dead show. It is spectacular. It was a beautiful thing. There was harmony. There was a sense of family. It's so funny how fast stuff changes. You guys realize how fast the environment and the temperature changes? Keith Kingman. Look at that. There's Keith Kingman, everybody. Hi, John and everyone. It's always a blessing to be in a group with awesome people. You know what's great? Tommy says this a lot. Our superpower is just that the best people should end up here. Anyway, getting back to it. I went to the very first chili festival I went to. I don't remember if it was a chili festival. I'll email you, Dizzy. I'll email it to you. I don't know if it was a chili festival or a hot sauce, or I don't know what it was. I could probably go back and find out. At any rate, the thing that struck me at that first spice festival I went to was that the vibe was so much like a Dead show. It was great. Everybody there had a spicy shirt on, wearing a hat. Women were wearing earrings that were peppers. Everybody had something. It was just and the very first chili festival I ever went to, whatever one it was, called a hot sauce festival. There was no bar, there were no sides. Everybody was there. The vibe was so similar. I promise you, if you said, you're a doctor, raise your hand, you would have seen hands go up. If you're a student, put your hand up. If you're homeless, put your hand. Everybody was there. And the vibe was the same. No one gave listen, nobody cared what your political thoughts were. Nobody cared about any of that. All that mattered was, hey, we're here to get burned up today. You've been over there to Hellfire? That's what it was like. It was just amazing. And I left there thinking, this is the most amazing thing in the world. I talked about it in a live stream. I remember it vividly. I probably said that the whole vibe is very similar to a Dead show a number of times. And if you've watched me for a long time, you've probably seen it. 60 years of age, almost, pretty close to 60. Pretty close. I'm feeling good. So here, I said a moment ago how fast Triggy, I'm glad you're here, by the way, how fast the temperature changes. Because the very last chili festival I went to was a dumpster fire. How about that? There were factions. It was awful. There were people that were giving me the stink eye, that hated me for videos I made. There were sides. There were division. There was a division. It was so clear. It was palpable. You could feel it in the air. It sucks. Why do you think I'm not a part of it anymore? You bet. I still eat hot. I still review hot peppers. I'm still reviewing sauce. Look at that. But it's changed there. And here's the problem. It's about what it is hate. And I'm not trying to bring you guys down or have I'm not lecturing anybody, but I'm telling you, I'm going to preach positivity for good. Here's what's going to turn this ship around. It's going to be love. Doesn't matter. I remember let me tell you something funny. The very first show I ever went to, vendors were going to other vendors going, hey, good luck today. I hope you sell everything. Don't go home with anything but memories. And the idea behind that is you don't want to go home with a bunch of stuff you brought with you. You want to sell it all. And everybody was supporting everybody. And everybody would walk out to every single vendor, would go to every other vendor and say, good luck, man, knock them dead. What do you got? You got anything new? And there was such a camaraderie. And that crap went away fast. Because what happens when hate takes hold, it metastasizes. It does. It does it fast. And it spreads like an awful virus. very early on, Ace of Spud said, since you moved south, I love your positivity. And he said it's infectious. And it is, but so is negativity. But the problem is our default mode is not to be positive. Quinn, good to see you. Oh, look at this. You got to be kidding me. How often do you hear that? Found you a week ago. Love you, brother. You're the man. Thank you so much. Quinn, I haven't eaten a bunch of really, really hot, crazy stuff in a while. But if you go to the playlist, you're going to see some crazy stuff. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm glad you're here, Quinn. We appreciate you. So getting back to it, what's going to fix the Chile community? Because I don't care what you say. I don't care who you are. If you don't think the Chile community is fractured, now it's not fractured beyond repair. I promise you it's not. We can turn the franchise around. But what it's going to take is love. That's it. You know what's funny? If you look at my numbers of this channel, I'm never going to stop pushing positivity and love. But ever since that's happened, my channel has done this. I'm not going to change. When everybody's talking hate, this dude's going to be talking about love. Because the same thing that's going to fix the Chile community, because it sucks right now, is the exact same thing that's going to fix the United States, which also sucks right now. It's the same thing that's going to fix the world. And I'm an American. I'm a U.S. citizen. I love the United States, but it's a dumpster fire right now because everybody hates everybody. There's so much hatred. And it's a problem. So what I'm telling you is this. Let's get back to being like a dead show, the way it's supposed to be. You know, I feel like sometimes I'm just flapping my gums and it's a waste of time. I'm going to keep flapping my gums. I don't care. Jason says, crazy indeed. I remember the capsaicin grenade in the tent. That was brutal. Man, that was brutal. That was a dumb idea. Who thinks of that, right? Climb into a tent, throw a grenade in, filled with powder, then get in the tent and zip it up. Foolish. Cindy, I love the way you are and this bus. It's a bunch of great people. It really is. I'd rather have 10,000 people or 100 people that are positive and get it than 150,000 who don't. If that means I've got to go out and get a job to supplement things, I don't care. I'm not scared of work. I promise you that. Look at Jeremy says, just the love of peppers is all it should have ever been about. And it was like that when I first got started. That's exactly what this is about. Spirit Prop says, getting slightly worried about my upcoming belt match, not raising my tolerance enough. I hope there's plenty of love in Gettysburg. Last year's vibe was awesome. Spirit Prof, get some tincture. Tincture will help you build your tolerance quickly. Quinn, you're going to find that Barbara and everybody here are wicked cool people. I'm not even fooling you. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Cindy G. You're awesome. Spirit Prof says the grenade was awesome. That's interesting, right? You probably went to some extremes, Johnny, for hot content back in the day. Gouthie, get the horse. Do you guys know that? Wow, that's funny. Do you guys understand what he means by that? You probably don't. That's funny. Monk. Good to see you. Yeah, I'd work at Super Maxi in a heartbeat, Dizzy Dragon. There are great people there. So I jumped into this tent like a moron, right? We threw in a grenade, an extraction grenade, which was filled with Dizzy got it. It was filled with chocolate primatali powder. And when it blew up, I jumped in the tent and it just got all over my skin and in my eyes. And I had goggles on. I breathed it in. It was like breathing in fire. It was so horrible. Ah, it was terrible. It was all my skin. It was terrible. When I got out, they were hosing me down. I was wearing shorts that had a horse on the front and a horse's tail in the back, like. Anyway, they were spraying. I said, "Get the horse." I was burning. You know what I did before that? It's hilarious. I wrapped before I put anything on. Standing in the bathroom, no clothes on. I took Saran wrap, and I made like a sumo. Like you ever see somebody like a sumo wrestler? What that thing looks like? I did that made of Saran wrap to try to keep all the powder away from my twig and berries. That didn't work. It was terrible. Max Power. Look at that. There's Max Power 78. Good to see you, dude. I did a lot of stupid stuff. You know what, though? It wasn't just for views. It was for entertainment. I swear to you, I said this. I was talking to a friend of mine today. I still have a few left. And he's somebody who has a channel about chilies, and he said he's a great guy. He just said, I'm doing it for the love of it, because people enjoy it, And I did it for entertainment because I loved it. I didn't do it to get rich, because that didn't happen. I didn't do it to get famous, because that didn't happen either. None of those things mattered to me. All that mattered was me having fun at it. And I said, famously, a bunch of times, when it's no longer fun, I'm going to stop doing it. For a while there, I absolutely stopped doing it. But I'm getting back. Jason says he looked like he had instant sunburn, and they were dousing with milk. They did. They poured a couple gallons of milk over me. It was a good video. It was fun. Barbara, for some reason, hate makes people feel superior. It seems to give false sense of esteem. False being the operative word. Yeah, let me tell you something funny, Barbara. There are people. I grew up in a different day. I really did. I grew up in a day where there was no post that you could make. What you did, you said the wrong thing. And nobody unfriended you. They went to your house, they knocked on your door, and you guys stood in the driveway and you beat the bark off each other. And someone was going to walk away feeling a little better than the other person. No one went to jail over that. I got driven to fistfights before. And now we're in a, now like, I don't like talking about controversial stuff, but the whole thing, big part of it is the thing with Charlie Kirk. Do you understand that 80%, it's how you frame the information. 80% of the country is not okay with killing somebody because of what they say. And that sounds great, right? But let's flip it around and say 20% of the country is okay. That means if you get 5 people in a room, one of them is okay about killing somebody just because they don't like what you say and how you think. Do you understand how jacked up that is? Now, those 5 people, if they were neighbors of mine, do you think they'd act like that? I can promise you they wouldn't. I have people that have made horrible, nasty videos about me and my brother for years. They made celebration videos when my dad died. They've called me a child molester, serial rapist. There goes the monetization. I've been called that in video. Now, you can sue somebody for defamation, but these are people that it would cost me infinitely more money than I would ever get at them, and I'm not going to do that. So I just ignore it. But if that person was my neighbor, do you think they would talk to me that way? I can promise you they wouldn't. I can promise you they wouldn't. So what has to happen is the hatred has to stop, and love has to turn around. This social media, and YouTube is part of it, is a big, big part of the problem. Huge part of the problem. You know why? You guys, you know why? I'll get to why in just a minute. Is it normal that my Scotch bonnets were almost ghost heat this level? Boy, you know what? I just got a text message from David. Love David. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe they were when the previous round, they were sitting next to ghost peppers. No idea. It's pretty cool though. So here's why social media is the problem. Because when I was young, if you had something you didn't like to say, if you didn't like somebody, you said it to them. You had to have the stones to say it to them. And then what happened, happened. Now people sit behind their keyboard, right? And they say things they would never say in public. You're never going to hear people talking like that at a cocktail party. But boy, when they get home and turn the computer on, they do this. They say the worst things in the whole world. Now, here's the other problem. You know what you can tell what somebody's about? By going to their feed. I don't even look at Instagram anymore, but this is what you'd see on my Instagram. Everything is about chilies or guitar or cats. I let the minister of my church scroll through my feed because I have nothing to hide. The only thing I look at is peppers, guitar, cats. And lately, I've been really into South America on account of me living here. But the reason I'm saying this, if you've got terrible things in your feed, it's just a mirror, people. It means you're looking at things, and they're sending you what you look at. I've heard people say, well, all I get in my feed is hate. Hello? It's because you're looking at it. Now, here's the truth of it. I don't want anyone to take anything like I'm dumping on you. If all you do is look at good stuff, even on Facebook, YouTube or anything, if all you do is look at good stuff, they've admitted it already that they're still going to slide some hate to you once in a while because they want you to click on it. Hate Now, like back in the old day, it was newspapers. How often do you see a really happy, wonderful, positive story on the front page of a newspaper? There are people here that are too young to even know, like a newspaper. What is this guy talking about? There used to be newspaper. You'd open it up and there'd be different segments and sports and stocks and business and real estate and everything else. There's never anything good. Crap sells. So what you got to do and what I have to do, I'm talking to me here, right? Garbage in, garbage out. What are you consuming? Florida Heat, it's good to see you. State-sponsored psychological trauma. The mass media wants us in perpetual fear. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hatred. And hatred leads to the dark side. Here's the deal, Florida Heats. They have a vested interest in us hating each other. I do, Triggy, but I can't tell you. I do. It's a very long, ridiculous process. Hi, Tommy Bird. Good to see you. I'm going to click on you in just a second. I'm glad you're here, dude. So here's the deal. Joseph Afonso, good to see you, bro. Let's I'm going to get to your question in just a split second. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Andrew Brown, there's a good dude. So here's the thing. They have a vested interest in us hating each other. The government, all media, YouTube, the Chile community, everything. That's it. They have a vested interest in us hating each other. When we're hating each other, we're not focusing on the cure for all of this. Imagine this. The center between my hands is hate. Love is on the other end of the extreme. And when we're doing this, we're so far from love, it's not funny. And love is what's going to turn this franchise around. Because if we don't, I promise you, in the United States, I've probably gone to my last chili festival. I'm hoping to have some chili festivals here in South America. I shouldn't say I've at my last. We can turn this around. I promise you can. The very first chili festival I ever went to was exactly like a Grateful Dead concert. There was nothing but love and harmony and positivity. And then it just turned into a thug game. It really did. So they have a vested interest in us killing each other and hating each other. Florida Heats gets it. Jesus Christ, the only way. Man, I believe that. That is my marching cry right now. I don't care if people don't like it. I don't care. Here's the thing. I want to be bold, but I don't want to be offensive. I'm never going to hide about my faith. I'm never going to hide under a bushel. I'm going to talk about it. And you know what? If you don't agree with me, I'm cool with that. Email me. We'll talk about it. Just don't give me death threats and tell me I'm a scumbag. Wes Lightburn, good to see you. Archie's mom, good to see you. Some amazing people here. Yeah, don't worry about it, Triggy. It's a trademark thing. It's an amazing process. It takes a long time to get that done. Okay, so let me get to some of the comments that happened because I was flying by. Tommy Bird says, hey, Johnny and everyone. Man, I'm tired. Definitely don't feel like I have 3 days off. Just got done helping my daughter study geography. Oh, made a study map of the 13 colonies. Wow, it was a better day. You know what? There's never been a time where it's all been harmony. There's always been gripe. There's always been strife. But I'm telling you, it starts. You guys have heard me say I can't fix the world. I can't get the world sober. Get me sober though, right? I can't stop the world from hating, but I can stop hating. It starts individually. Blitz says, did you hear that guy who was yelling, I did it, shoot me, shoot me? They found, yes, I did. That was what she's talking about when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There was an older man, 71, that said, I did it. And it turns out he was a PDF file. And he had pictures on his phone. You know what I think? You know what my theory is on that? They knew he had pictures on his phone, and he was coerced into doing that. It was misdirection. Even if it only misdirected and caused confusion for 20 minutes, it made a difference. That's what I believe. I think he was coerced into doing that. Tommy Bird says, correct. It's a mirror of your internal interests and envious lust. Yeah. Would you be comfortable letting me look at your, I'm not going to ask. I don't want to do that. But I mean, I promise you, I'd let my mom, I'd let the pastor of my church, anybody go through the algorithm and see what I look at. You're not going to see anything but peppers, guitars, cats, and some South American stuff. Triggy says, I can't ruin my reputation or my livelihood getting into brawls or feeling like a world star. World star, like you see in those viral videos for clicks. Yeah, I mean, if you ever watch me, I clearly didn't do this for clicks and for money. How many times have you ever heard me say, well, this video has been brought to you by this, I don't do that. I don't. It's still fun though. Tommy says, good to see you all tonight. I honestly can say at this point in my life, I hate no one. I do strongly disagree with the actions and beliefs of certain people, and I hate evil, not people. Me too. That's how I feel. I do not hate. There's not a single person I hate, and I can say that with 100% honesty. I mean it. Do you know that when I go to bed at night, I pray for those who hate me? And I don't pray for them by name every night, but sometimes I do. That's how we're going to turn this franchise around. We're not going to turn it around unless we do that. Archie's mom says, you be the amazing person you are, Johnny. You are a true great soul. You know what? I'm not. Thank you for saying that, Archie's mom. I'm not. I'm a flawed piece of crap. I am. You guys only see me at my best. When I'm really feeling like crap, I don't go live. I don't. Last night I was sick, all right? But there have been times where I'm just in a funk. I don't go live. You know what I mean? I want to be a better guy. I'm trying. I promise you I'm trying. Here's the thing. You don't get better accidentally. You don't improve. If you play tennis, you're not going to get better at tennis, spontaneously. It takes effort, right? It's like that with anything in life. And I want to be a better man. I do. I want to. Look what Jeremy says. Be the change you want to see. Didn't Mother Teresa say that? You know what? David at the center, he's messaged me 4 times since we started this. He reminds me of like Mother Teresa at that recovery center. I love that guy. Gauthi, I don't hate people. If I don't get along with them, I stay away from them. You know what? I get it. What we need to do is get to a point, though. Hi, Sam. Good to see you, dude. What we need to do is get to a point where we can talk to somebody without them hating you. It's okay to disagree. You know what I mean? Even on big things. We used to my God, it's just so weird how fast the temperature changes. It's crazy. Florida Heat says, turn off the TV. Go into the woods. Every moment is a blessing. Leave the hate magnets to themselves. It's always going to be like that. I think the worst thing, if I woke up tomorrow and I uploaded a video and there was not one view, I wouldn't be upset about that. Maybe they're getting it. Stop watching so much. I know it's a weird thing for a content creator to say. I don't work at Arby's or, at Bella Italiano. This is my gig. This is how I make a living. But I still would rather people stop. It's a cesspool. Yes, a couple of days ago I talked about women's bodies and self-image. 90% of every picture you see on Instagram, on X, on all of them, 90% are doctored. And it gives women the if you're a woman and you're watching, you're beautiful. I want you to know that. Barbara says, I keep thinking about what Charlie said in preps for college events. I will tell the truth. I will not compromise. I will love on the lost. Yet, they're 1 out of 5 is fired up that happened. It's like I said, they're fired up through keyboard. I promise you, nobody's ever going to walk up and say to my face, I'm glad that happened. Cindy says, I'd show my feet to anyone. People may think I'm strange, mind you, but yeah, I get it. Well, look, I'm like cats, peppers. For the average person, that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Love you, man. Got to roll. You are a legend because you are you. Thank you, Florida Heats. I appreciate you. You know what? For the longest time, I really had a problem. This is the truth, man. If you watch me for any length of time, you're going to go, yeah, I've heard you say that. Brock Bandy. Look at that. It's Brock Bandy. I love that guy. I hated being called a legend. But then I stopped eating peppers for like 6 months. And I started reflecting on some of the things that I did. I'm like, I don't mind if you call me that. The person I was talking to today said, man, your tolerance drops. I don't think my tolerance is high this season as it was last season. You got to keep your foot, the accelerator to the floor to keep it up there. And I did it for 8 years without taking a break. Tricky says, have you personally ever disagreed with someone and then felt like this person can't be in my life anymore? I'd be lying if I said no. Yeah, I have. But that was in a time in my life where I was a little less tolerant. I've been a very intolerant dude at some points in my life. Now, if somebody has an absolutely opposing point of view that's absolutely counter, I just limit the exposure to me. Like, I have a very small circle, you guys. The bigger the channel got, the more of a recluse I became. I probably have, other than immediate family, there's probably 3 or 4 people I talk to on the phone. So, Here's the thing. It's really easy to close people off. It's so easy to shut people down and just build a wall. And that we got to be building bridges and not walls. And I'm not knocking you. I'm talking about me, Triggy. Like I'm a Christian. There are people that I have friends that are Satanists. I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm not like I'm breaking bread with them, but I don't hate them for what they feel, and they don't hate me for what I feel. Archie's mom said, "We're all flawed. It's human recognition. It's human recognition. It's great and shows the amazing character you are." Well, thank you. I got a long way to go, though. You know what I mean? You guys don't see it. Here's the problem. You guys don't see the flaws I've got. Thank God for that. We're supposed to pray for those that trespass against us. Otherwise, how can we ask for our own trespasses to be forgiven? How could we repent if we couldn't forgive with sympathy? You're right. The other thing is this. It's a wonderful verse in the Bible. It says, love your enemies. It pours coals on their head. So sometimes I've loved my enemies just because in my head I'm thinking, oh, they hate it. When I pray for them at night, I don't do it with, I do it. It's my thing. I'm not doing it. I don't call them and say, hey, I prayed for you today. You know what I mean? But it's something I do. Florida Heat says, I'm talking about the mass media machine. It's a state-funded propaganda tool. It is. It's designed for us to hate each other, because the more we hate each other, the less likely we are going to be to love, and love is the cure. If we hate, they're winning. It's all about, here's the thing. It's all about clicks, views, and keeping you on. When I was a kid, there was one news program. It came out at 6 o'clock. It was for 1 hour, and it was over. Everybody just watched the same thing. Both sides, whatever side. You watch the same thing when it's over. You're like, oh, what do you think of that? Well, this is what I think. What do you think of that? But we all watch the same thing. And now there's different things where it's just, I worked at a bank a long time ago when I was a kid. And we were right towards the end. They said, all right, we're going to watch a video here for just a couple of minutes. And then when we're done, we're going to write down what we saw. And it was a robbery in the bank. And I'm watching. I'm like, that dude with a flannel shirt at the door looks sketchy. And I'm watching the whole thing and I'm seeing what's happened. It was short. It was like a minute or two. It was done. They said, all right, get a piece of paper and write it down what you saw. So I wrote down what I saw. Then they said, all right, let's talk about it. Read what you saw. And I wrote down what I saw. There were 3 people in on it. I watched head signals. And I'm not even going to say what one of the people said. But I couldn't believe how differently people saw the exact same thing. So the problem is we're in a day and an age where if you have we all have points of view about everything. So politically and everything else. So if you have a political point of view, you're not likely to go over and always watch the opposing side's network. You know what I mean? Because it says things that you don't like. But the truth of the matter, and vice versa. But here's the truth of it. I said this before. Let's say hypothetically, I'm a guy who's like, here's the truth of it. Socially, I'm kind of a liberal dude. Financially and fiscally, I'm conservative as can be. But I've loosened up a lot socially as far as like liberal points of view. But let's say I'm a liberal guy. All right. If I look over and go over to like the conservative networks, you're going to see the most extreme conservatives there are, the real right wing. Now, if you're a conservative person and you go take a peek at the liberal news networks, you're going to see the most left wing, and both of them are lunatic fringe, but they represent this much of us. And I think most of them, look at that. Say to hi, Mom. Most of them wouldn't be like that if there wasn't this in front of us. And it's not really the truth. That's not who people are. It's what they want you to think they are, but it's not. Tommy says, only if a person ever brings you negativity should you avoid having them in your life at all. They may need you terribly at some future time. You may need them as well. We need each other. If somebody's jeopardizing my sobriety, I will get away from them, and I will not allow them any access to me. That's the truth. My sobriety is real important. You know what drugs do? I've talked about this before. You know what drugs do? Look at that. Bully gets it. Love wins. Drugs just make you forget stuff. It's the truth. If you got a headache, aspirin will make you forget about that. Right? If you got a muscle pull, ibuprofen will make you forget about that. Right? If you have surgery, Vicodin will make you forget about that. You do heroin, forget about your mortgage, forget about your wife, your kids, your God. It takes everything. I don't let anybody near me who's going to jeopardize my sobriety. Barbara Waite, my mantra is love is the only thing we take with us when we leave this life, and the only thing of real value when we leave behind when we go.
I'm taking my concert T-shirt collection.
Tommy, that's it. He said, Heidi, look at that. Heidi's here. Tommy's taking his concert t-shirt collection, and he has a wicked cool collection of concert tees. Not even fooling you people. Look at that. Cindy says, I deserve a peaceful life, creating it and living it best I can. I am worth the effort. Yeah, you all are. You all are. Look at Josh Cohen's back. That right there, that is a wicked good man. That's a man I've met. I met his daughter. Good human being. Just Joan has joined the chat. Just Joan, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. So, getting back to it all, because I'm not going to go real long tonight, but let's recap this. Grateful Dead shows used to be the most peaceful thing in the whole world. Here's the great thing. I never, ever went to a Dead show that wasn't. Saw a guy get shoved once. Remember that? Was that a peanut butter and jelly table, or was that for nitrous oxide balloons?
Honestly, I thought it was a veggie taco.
Oh, it could have been veggie taco. But I only saw one thing of violence, and it was just somebody shoving somebody. But the chili community used to be like that. It's not everything. We can fix this. Do you guys understand that? We all can fix this. But here's the thing. I can't fix Renee B. See you. Look at that. There's Renee B. I can't fix the entire chili community. I can fix me, though. I'm only going to be positive. There's no room in my life for hate. I don't hate anybody. You could hook me up to a machine. They're like, man, that guy doesn't hate anybody. I don't. And if we all got to get like that. Tommy is a sober man. He can't, no matter how much he tries, man, he does try. He can't get the world sober, but he got him sober. I can't fix the world. I can fix me. If everybody took that approach to this whole thing, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And I'm going to be a wrap quick. So look at this. We leave behind. Whoops, sorry, Barbara, saying hi to Just Joan. We leave behind memories. That's all our legacies. Make sure they're good, warm, great, loving memories. Those are the kind that last through generations. Yep. And if a little kid hands you a fake telephone, I don't give a rip how old you are. You answer it. We all got to get back to that, man. So, love is the answer. That's just the truth, man. So what I want to tell you is this. All right. If you're watching something, be it on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Rumble, it doesn't give a hoot. It doesn't matter. If you're watching something and it's negative, like really negative, you're part of the problem. If you're in a chat and if you're watching the video and the chat becomes negative and you stick around, you're part of the problem. But I want you to know, if I watch a video like that, I'm the problem. And if I watch crappy comments like that, I'm the problem. So my commitment to all you is I don't do that. If I showed you my feed on Instagram, right? The first thing you saw was peppers, guitars, cats, and it. If you looked at the feed on YouTube, you're going to see some true crime, but you're going to see it's just silly stuff we watch. A lot of concert stuff, a lot of music. Listen. Be careful what you consume. If you knew you were going to eat something that was going to destroy you on the inside, like bad water, if we had known that water was going to be bad for us, do you think we would have drank it? Anybody? Of course not. But we watch stuff that destroy our souls. If you don't think that, I remember years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago or so, it's been a long time. I stopped watching TV. I watch cable. I don't watch TV at all. I watch what I want to watch, but I stopped watching like mainstream, like cable TV. The minute I did, I can't begin to tell you how much better my life got. Like I said to you earlier, back in the day, the news was an hour at 6 o'clock and it was done. Then they came out with the 24-hour news cycle. It's not like every hour there's something different. It's the same thing for every hour for 24 hours. Throughout the day, they'll add a few things and drop a few things off, but it's essentially the same thing. So if you watch an hour of it, how much of it is positive, people? Let's be real for just a minute. How much of it is positive? So if you stay watching, it just wears on you. I can't tell you how good I felt when I stopped watching that crap. Do yourself a favor and stop. Look at that. Arwa's in the chat. It's a star right there. Good to see you, Arwa. I will say that most modern metal and rock shows are getting back to just love and good vibes despite how the music sounds. I remember hearing somebody talk about Ozzy. Like, he's the nicest guy in the world. That's shtick. He knew what would sell. They asked him if he believed in God. He goes, of course I did. Sydney, I don't even do Instagram. I added it a couple months ago only to find my tattoo artist information. You know what she said? Had 2 artists. Isn't that funny? To send in pictures. Cindy G, Tommy and I are getting that itch. Uh-oh. I struggle with FOMO, the apocalypse and doom scrolling, fear of missing out. It's easy to have happen. Why do you think it's like that? Why do you think it works? Because it keeps you watching. Let me tell you something. One day, Tommy and I are in this right here, and we came across, and I don't want anyone to judge me. I'm just going to be real honest with you guys. I'm going to end it here, all right? But it's the truth. We came across a Corey Feldman video. No, I know what you're thinking. 4 hours later, we had seen, how many videos do you think we watched?
It was a deep dive.
It was a deep dive. Be careful what you watch. I'm not saying don't watch a little Corey Feldman because he's the gift that keeps giving. But not, too much of anything is not a good thing. And you know what? Jesus loves you. Look into it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up now. Tommy's going to go live at 5 after. Huh? Right around 5 after. I appreciate all of you. Sam, I can't tell you that I have. Do me a favor, Dizzy Dragon. I'll check that out though, Pepper Pot, because I have listened to some Post Malone. He's pretty very interesting cat. Email me because I'll forget, and I will give you my WhatsApp. And listen, here's the deal about Feldman. He identifies as a guitar god. And I'm going to get hated for this, but when I hear the word identify, I hear pretend. When I hear someone say I identify, I hear the word pretend. Sorry, it is what it is. I love you guys. Here's Chris and Melinda showing one more time why she's the greatest mod on the planet. That is my brother, the one and only Tommy Scoble, going live 5 after the hour. I appreciate you. Even the ones that are pretending, I still love them. I promise you I do. I don't hate anybody. Hope you all know that. I love you guys. Tomorrow night, please be with me. It's Gouthy's birthday. And before we go, one last thing. Please, I want to show you something.
We got it.
You got it. Oh, don't get out of the basket. Oh, she did. I'm not going to let you worm away. Look at this giant cat. She is getting so big. She is 1 year old tomorrow. Right?
Happy birthday, Cotton.
Right? This is Cotton. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to do this tomorrow. I probably will, but she is getting huge. She's a big, big kitty, but she's so sweet. And the two of these kitties are so adorable together. But it should have been a cat in the basket. It was a cat in my arms. I love you guys. Be kind. Tell someone you love them and choose love over hate. If you find yourself watching garbage, stop it. And stop watching so much YouTube. I love you guys. But make sure you watch Tommy next. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this was Chase the Heat.